Captain Logan, and welcome to Captain Logan Show. Joining me as always is my son and chat moderator and co-host and all those special things, Jason.
Wow. Special.
Hello, Jason.
Hello, I'm Jason.
I don't know why I feel like we haven't done one of these in a month. I guess we took all last week off because we were on vacation.
And then, well, the thing is, we hadn't done one in like a month, and then we did a really short one.
We did a short one.
And then we took a week off.
So tonight, you almost said a year. So,
a year.
It felt like that. So tonight, we're going to have a regular 2-hour show. How about that? Strap in, folks. We're going to talk about Fantastic Four's box office, and we're going to ask the question, is the MCU doomed? Do you see what I did there?
Get it?
And was this a fantastic failure?
Wow.
There is, I think, some room for debate about just how much of a catastrophe this is. It's certainly not looking good objectively for the movie, like, totally making its money back. But the question is, like, how much worse is it doing than maybe we should have expected it to do? How much of the box office failure or just breaking even, whatever ends up happening with it, has to do with people not caring about Fantastic Four as a property? How much of it has to do with consumer confidence not being there for the MCU anymore? And how does it bode for the future of Marvel? I think all of these are giant question marks, and I want to explore all of those things in our lead-in topic. Welcome, thanks a lot for watching tonight. As always, if there's something that you were just jonesing for us to talk about in the geeky sphere, either news items that I'm not front-loading tonight, or just comic things, sci-fi things, superhero things, anything you want to talk about, we will be doing lots of Q&A in the second half, and we will answer anything you want us to talk about in a super chat in any dollar amount. We'll guarantee that. And you can also leave regular comments with a question, and make sure to use the @ symbol, and after the @ symbol, write Jason, because he mods the show. Yes. Or write video game secrets, or write gotta go fast.
Gotta go fast.
Jason will answer to any of these things and more. Give us your absolute best Sonic impression, Jason. Go.
Dang it, Freddy can do a really good one.
Freddy does a really good one.
Well, Freddy does a really good 90s one. What is it? Gotta go fast.
Wow. I mean...
And it's like Sonic if he was on drugs.
That sounds like Sonic on meth. That's exactly what I was about to say. Yeah, exactly. If your super chat is related to the lead-in topic, we will answer it right away. Otherwise, don't fear, don't worry. We will get to it in the second half. Although, let's go ahead and knock out this $10 super chat that we got right at the start, just because it's not really a question, and we might as well go ahead and read it at the start.
We try not to...
Thanks a lot to him.
F this up.
Yeah,
this
good
is
luck.
From Hermonimus.
I think that's right. I think that's good.
Nice.
$10 super chat.
$10 super chat from that.
From that
person.
From that guy. That was very respectful.
I'm so sorry to Hermonimus. He says Cap. This person says Cap. Geekvolution helped me to think more critically about entertainment as a teen, and I listened to your backlog content to help get me through work. Can't watch live, but we'll listen tomorrow. God bless.
Thanks, man. Always means a lot to hear that.
Yeah.
Appreciate you, man. He was talking in the comments earlier and said he's been with us since 2009, off and on. One of those folks that's never just fully got up and left, even though the content we make now is not exactly the content that got him into the first place. And I certainly really appreciate that. Of course, we all evolve and change doing this kind of thing for 16, going on 17 years. I'm just lucky YouTube has been here this long. Mm-hmm. I'm lucky that this whole platform is even still a thing. Yeah. It's got its ups and downs, and there's all kinds of issues I've had with it over the years, as you guys know. And there's been drama where I've almost lost the channel a couple times because of just goofy, like, YouTube policy things. But we're still here.
We're still here. I'm sorry.
And like Styx said, I'm not dead yet.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You better get a bigger gun. I'm not dead yet. Okay, we're gonna open like we always do with a Patreon question, and as always, another quick plug: Patreon.com/Geekvolution. Just the $2 tier lets you ask a question every month in case you can't be here live or you don't like leaving super chats. So go there and do that if you're so inclined. The camera is still fritzing out like it was last night. I thought I fixed it, but it's still doing that. So I'll try to get it fixed before tomorrow's show.
How was your show last night?
It was great.
Chris?
Yeah, Chris is awesome.
Do you guys like Chris?
He brings, yeah. Do you like? Sound off in the comments if you've been watching Comic Book Late Night. Tell us how you feel about Chris. I need
Chris
to.
Is awesome.
I need to inflate Chris's ego.
Yeah.
He's not a real egotistical guy. He needs more ego.
Yeah. And real quick, Dan's Den says I've been watching Geekvolution since around 2010.
You know what I thought he was going to say? I thought he was going to say he's been watching since like 07. Just like something absurd like before we even started. Well, I've been watching since before YouTube.
Nicholas Bode says you guys have been here since I was in elementary school.
Isn't that nuts?
Braden Atkinson says since I was in middle school.
Have I ever thrown this statistic out? It's nuts, all the folks that we have that have been with us since they were teenagers, because that was the bulk of our audience back when I started. Do you know how many people of the average age that used to watch the channel watch now? The average age was like 15, 16. Do you know what the percentage is of 15, 16 now? 0.
That's crazy.
And I don't mean 0.1. I mean 0.
Wow.
When you look at my analytics, nobody under the age of like 24.
Which is weird because I watched some of your videos, but
yeah, I don't know why it doesn't count you.
Yeah, I don't know.
Is it because your account is linked to my account,
maybe,
so it thinks you're me?
But
is that what it is?
I think.
Does it think you're a 41-year-old man?
But I'm pretty sure my views still count.
Yeah, I don't know.
Braden Atkinson, we asked you guys if you like Chris, and he says yes, he is good people.
He is good people. Chris brings a lot to that show, because there's a lot of pockets in comics that I don't know about that he knows a lot better than I do.
Really?
And he's more deeply involved in the current industry, and I've only recently got back in, so like he knows a lot of people that work in comics, and especially locally, and he has kept up the last 8 years in a way I have not. So it's really nice having him on that show. He's not going to be here every week, but I'm going to get him as often as humanly possible. So that show will sometimes still be me on my own, or maybe I'll invite Austin sometimes. But anyway, thank you guys for being here. Appreciate you as always. Let's open with some Patreon. Also let me say, let's do a top super chatter tonight. And top super chatter. And some of you guys will probably already be in this category and won't need to try to get the top super chatter, but I wanted to offer this probably over the next couple of weeks. Top super chatter will get an invite to the special viewing of Superhero Rewind the movie we're going to do the Tuesday before it comes out. We're going to be doing a watch party so there won't be Comic Book Late Night that night. We'll try to start the movie around 7-ish, maybe even a little earlier, because it's long. And what I want to do is show the movie to I forget what the tier was. I think it was like maybe $20, but we had a tier for the Super Chat supporters that gets you access to that viewing. You'll be able to watch it along with us. So we'll put the movie on the screen. It won't glitch out like this, I promise. We'll put... I don't think it will. We'll put the movie on the screen. We won't be in a box or anything, but we'll be in the comments, and you can kind of chat with us as we're watching the movie. And then when it's over, we'll do a little bit of live Q&A for like half an hour afterwards, and we'll see how much of the crew can be there. We'll try to get Brandon and Chris to that if they can make it, and Vince if he wants to go, like anybody else that's involved in the movie. So I'm going to invite everybody remotely that's involved in the project to that. And then if you would like a link to that, just be the top super chatter tonight, and I'll offer that a couple times. So if you missed it last time, you've got a chance to get it now. And then just help me remember to point that person out at the end and to get their name on the list so that I can send them a link. And that person will need to email me because there's no direct contact in YouTube, which is freaking irritating. Okay, real quick Patreon, and then we'll get into the lead-in topic. Go ahead, sir.
Okay, I'll try my best to be real quick. This is a long one.
Oh, okay, sure.
This is from the Amalgam Nation. Hey, Cap.
Hi.
I was looking through some of my Wizard magazines and saw a section of one where they were discussing actors they wanted to play superhero characters.
This comes up a lot.
I thought it was interesting and would like to hear your thoughts on these. They said they wanted Alec Baldwin as Bruce Wayne, Bruce Campbell for Superman.
Let me tackle each of these one by one.
Yeah.
So Alec Baldwin, if he hadn't done The Shadow, would have been an okay Bruce Wayne. Would be a little bit weird to then pivot to Batman just because The Shadow was so informs Batman so much. But I've heard that before. That's a casting I've always been able to see. That would be okay.
Bruce Campbell for Superman.
I don't see it at all.
Me neither. This one, Jim Carrey as Plastic Man.
And that's just obvious.
Uh-huh.
Like, back in the day, we would have thought of that as the only person to play it.
Yeah.
Just because of the whole plastic face thing. Like, it's so on the nose, you almost wish they'd go with somebody else, but, like, it just makes sense.
Yeah. And Lawrence Fishburne as Steel. Thoughts?
In the mid-90s, I don't think he was big enough. You know, your John Henry Irons needs to look like a linebacker or a basketball player, which is why Shaq theoretically, if he could act, like physically, kind of makes sense. You know, you could sort of see it. But the problem is he's too recognizable. He's gonna, they made too jokey of a movie. Like, we don't have to get into a Steel review here, but like, he's actually more or less what the character should look like.
Yeah.
He's probably a little too big, but Shaq's bigger than the universe. Like,
yeah.
If the Tick was black, Shaq would be the only person that could play that character. I'll just say that. Like, Shaq's one of the only actors I've ever seen that is almost the height of the Tick.
How big? How tall is the Tick? Like, canonically?
He's supposed to be like 9 or 10 feet.
Really?
Yeah, he's like, or maybe 8, but like he's insanely tall. Like, maybe not 9 or 10, maybe 8, but like he's overly tall, which is why he's hard to do in live action, because there's nobody that living that is actually the height he should be.
Yeah.
Nobody's quite tall enough. But anyway, that's a great question.
What are we doing first?
Let me just real brief. Well, no, let's go ahead and do the leading topic, because I know a lot of people are of course, here for that. And then a little bit later, my birthday was yesterday, and I'm going to show off some cool presents I got from my family. If you guys will oblige me on that, I'll do that somewhere in the show. Just I'll work it in. I was going to do it here, but we're already 15 minutes in. Let's go ahead and do the leading topic, because we're going to have to stop calling it that.
Yeah.
If we can't get to it early. Anyway, so
the semi-leading topic.
The Fantastic Four box office. This is an article from Cosmic Book News. This isn't showing up right away. Sorry, guys. Give me a second. Let me fix this.
Every movie starts with a black screen.
Fantastic Four box office facing another huge drop, worse than Thunderbolts. Now, this title is a little bit misleading, or at least I fell for this trap, where initially I thought this meant that it was overall doing worse than Thunderbolts. This movie has already made more than Thunderbolts has, but its week-to-week drop-off has been worse than Thunderbolts, and people were kind of surprised by how hard of a drop-off that had. Let me say real quick, and I have said this already on other streams, but I want to make this point again. For my money, and Fantastic Four was a mixed bag, to be sure, and I'm very critical of it. I have a lot of issues with it, but I flipped green on it, and I am kind of excited to see it again. That movie... So MCU this year has had 3 movies, and for me, 2 out of 3 of them were good, and that ain't bad.
That's really not bad.
Thunderbolts, I think, is the better movie between it and Fantastic Four, of course.
Agree.
Like, holds together much better than Fantastic Four does.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's wonderful. Not a whole lot I would change about that movie.
Yeah. And as we talked about in our 3.5
It should have been 4.
We should have
forced it the extra 25 minutes.
There are things that we would have changed with Fantastic Four.
Oh, a lot. But most of it is stuff you just add back in. That's obviously a very compromised, cut to hell kind of movie.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I just wanted to point that out real quick, that while I'm still of course, overall leery about the direction the MCU has been going, and recognizing that a lot of people, including myself, have like lost faith in this as an overall universe and overall franchise. It, for my money, critically, has been the best year we've had in a long time. But objectively, again, I'll use that word, monetarily, these things have not been doing what Marvel needs them to do and what Marvel was hoping they would do. And it's not looking good from a PR standpoint. Where, like, when you look at the inflated budgets, you look at how much these things have cost versus what they're raking in, especially, of course, with advertising, it looks bad to consumers that can't decide if they care about this stuff anymore and go, well, nobody else cares either. And there's the question of how much that affects box office and whether this whole thing is even remotely sustainable moving forward. They've got the exact same problem Pixar does, except this is kind of worse because those are standalone movies, or at least a bunch of separate franchises. And if people don't care about your overall universe where you're making a big deal out of how all these things cross and are in the same world, it just becomes potentially a domino effect. So anyway, let me read some of this. Third Friday numbers. So this was published just 2 days ago. The Third Friday brought in just 4.5 million, another big drop of 61.4% from the previous Friday. That puts the film on track for an estimated $16 to $17 million weekend. The drop follows the second weekend plummeting 67%. Did you know it had that big of a drop?
That's crazy.
It was a real massive drop. Now I want to show you this list from Screen Rant. We all love Screen Rant. Or at least I'll just read this because I don't actually have a great way to show this. Hold on. Okay, this is gonna make no sense. I could put it in the comic book late night section because
yeah, you can do that.
Yeah, I'll just do this. Is it gonna show up? It's not showing up for us. Okay.
Oh.
Whatever. Anyway, sorry. I did not think to set this up ahead of time. So apologies there. I think it would take too long to do. Hold on. Let me just check for a second. Yeah, no, this is not working. Apologies, folks. Hang on. Jason, it's already a disaster. It's an absolute disaster.
Brett Pritchard,
yeah.
Thanks for the £1.
The £1?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's not working either.
Braden Atkinson, Screen Rant, more like Screen Can't.
Am I right? Yeah, that's not working either. Okay, I'll just read this to you guys. Apologies. So, I've got a list of the biggest, and thanks to Austin for sending this to me. I've got a list of the biggest overall second weekend drop-offs in the MCU, and Fantastic Four is on this list, but at the bottom of it. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 movies on this list between all the phases. And interestingly, so these are the top 7 second week drops, and they're all from phase 4 forward, Jason. So the worst of them was the Marvels at 79%. Just the word of mouth on that movie was abysmal. And I don't even think it had a great opening weekend. And then it had just this huge drop-off. Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, 69%. Brave New World, 68%. That was just this year. Black Widow, 68%. Thor Love and Thunder, 68%. Multiverse of Madness, 67, which hurts my feelings because I like that a lot. But a lot of people hated it. So that is consistent with the feelings I've heard from a lot of people. And Fantastic Four First Steps, 66%.
Yeah.
But the big difference between that and a lot of the other things on this list is the critical response to First Steps has been better overall than a lot of what's on this list, right?
Yep.
Yeah, Quantumania had a bad Rotten Tomatoes score. Marvel's obviously did. Brave New World did. Black Widow wasn't great. Love and Thunder I feel like was pretty low.
Oh, yeah. No,
Multiverse of
people hated
Madness,
that.
I don't remember what that looked like. I think it was a little more even than some of these others. But First Steps, let's look at that real quick, because I think that was at least in the 70s, if not 80s, right? Fantastic Four, First Steps.
Well, and obviously, like, I do have problems with Multiverse of Madness, but like it
Oh
was,
no, 86.
Wow.
86%.
It was my favorite MCU movie at one point, but it's not
So
anymore.
so let's talk about this. Why did First Steps have such a big drop off when it had a like reasonably great opening weekend? Like, it didn't quite do what Superman did, but it did better than anybody expected, and then it was just this, or at least better than I expected. And then it was a steep drop off.
They all went to Naked Gun instead?
No, no, certainly not. And that was that the very next weekend?
I think so.
Yeah, and Naked Gun is barely breaking even, and that's even before. Yeah, so Naked Gun critically acclaimed, 91% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
Everybody that's seeing it seems to love it, but not huge numbers. Before advertising, it has made its money back, but barely. So it will probably break even.
That's good.
Hopefully, it at least breaks even. That's the sense I'm getting. Fantastic Four, depending on what metrics you're looking at, is either breaking even or not quite. Again, because of advertising. So let's just talk for a second about what the actual box office is, because I haven't mentioned that. So the budget is reported. This is important, Jason. Reported at $200 million, but there have been suggestions, and I don't know how true this is, that with reshoots and things, that number could go all the way to 350.
Wow.
And that's before advertising, and it has, of course, not had an insignificant advertising campaign. It didn't feel as huge as Superman. Still pretty big. It's a Marvel movie. Box office so far, 3 weeks in, with huge steep drop-offs, only 9 million this last weekend, so it's not going to make up a lot more of this. 437. Which means it is either, if you can trust the $200 million number, which I don't, if you could trust that, it's breaking even or not even quite with a big advertising budget, or it's losing its entire advertising budget. So, I don't know. It's a giant question mark. Like, what does this mean exactly? So, two big questions for me are A, why is this happening when it's so well liked? And B, what does it mean for Marvel overall?
Well, I have a couple questions.
Yeah. It's hard not. It's hard not to only ask questions.
Is
right
it
now.
because of just the reputation that Fantastic Four has on screen? Is it because of the reputation that Marvel has had before this year?
Yeah.
And
especially this year.
Yeah.
Like, does this movie perform a little better if Captain America does better, or if more people saw Thunderbolts? And would Thunderbolts have performed better if Captain America was a better movie, considering those are more related? We've talked about all this before.
Yeah. Because I mean, yeah. the 2000s movie did do fairly well, right? I'm trying to think, because I'm
well enough that it got a sequel. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I'm wondering, you know, then people I feel like people would still go to a Fantastic Four thing. Like, people know what Fantastic Four is.
Yes. So don't forget, though, that the 2015 movie massively bombed and even more hurt Fantastic Four's reputation, and people don't look fondly back at the 2005 movie and its sequel.
Right.
There are so many potential factors in why it's not performing better than it is, and they're all suggestions I made before it came out of things that could hurt it. And I think all of these could be true, or it's possible one is a bigger issue than any of them.
I have another question. Is it because of competition?
Some of it definitely is. I think Marvel was insane to put it out as close to Superman. And I think, I don't want to say the market was split. I don't know how much Fantastic Four actually hurt Superman, although 2 weeks after that, because this is also kind of a question, and I'm sorry for just asking questions and not having answers, but there is the question of, tell me in the comments, guys, if you agree with this, or if you think I'm out to lunch, but if Fantastic Four hadn't come out when it did, would Superman have grossed quite a bit more, or at least like an extra 50 to 100?
Well,
because it was, still performing pretty well that weekend, but it did have to compete with Fantastic Four and split part of that market, and it's the same main demographic, obviously.
I also have another question.
Especially not just people that like superhero movies, but both of these very family friendly.
If those movies had switched release dates, would Superman be the one falling off?
I don't think so, but I do think that it might have split market share quite a bit more than it did. Because
I don't remember what Superman's score was on Rotten Tomatoes, but
I think it was actually around the same.
If it's around the same, then I feel like.
But the critical reaction versus public interest are, of course, different things. To be fair, and you're in real different places with these two studios right now. This is all very complicated. So, with Superman, one of the things that bolsters interest and attendance in that, what's two big things. A, the track record of James Gunn. So part of the reason that movie does as well as it does, and don't get me wrong, there is a question as to just how much actual profit that movie made. I don't want to sit here and act like Superman was this gigantic, insane, impressive success story versus some other things in the past. I predicted it would make $1 billion, and I was wrong about it. I was off by $400 million. I really thought it might actually do that. But I also was probably too optimistic about overseas, because it's too patriotic of a character, and there are just countries that used to give us a lot of box office that really hate us right now, and those people aren't going to see, a lot of those people aren't going to see our movies. So China helps you with that movie 10 years ago in a way that it doesn't help you now. Or might help you. Or maybe China never helps you with Superman. I'm really not actually sure. But anyway, so it's two things. James Gunn really helps, and the curiosity of the start of a rebooted, fresh universe after the unmitigated disaster the DCEU was helps a lot. But the fact that DC had a bad track record just before that, and some people will be trepidatious, is part of the reason it doesn't do even bigger guns than it does. So lack of consumer confidence in superhero movies in general, but the track records of both of these companies specifically hurt both of those movies. The question is, how much more did it hurt Fantastic Four? Once again, how much does that have to do with the clout MCU used to have versus what it has now, and how much of it has to do with no one cares about Fantastic Four?
And we have to ask
and how much does it have to do with fans upset about female Silver Surfer? Did that hurt it at all? I don't know if that translates to lack of box office dollars, but there's a bunch of possible variables.
And we have to ask the question again: if both of these movies had come out 10 years ago, do they make $1 billion? Do either of them?
So, Man of Steel, this is also kind of an interesting set of statistics. Let me bring this up. And again, I'm having a hard time showing you guys stuff I just put pictures up for.
Because I'm pretty sure Fan Four Stick did not do badly because it's Fantastic Four.
Well, that's hard to say, too. It did as bad as it did because it was terrible. Mm-hmm. But if it had been brilliant, how much better could it have done? Let me back this whole thing off for a second and make this point that I wanted to make, Jason, which is Fantastic Four, against its budget, is obviously not making its money back and therefore doing poorly. However, let's just being all things being equal, let's forget what these things cost. We need to go back to the superhero fatigue conversation and say how much is that affecting these things, because again, there's the superhero fatigue question, and then there's the people just not trusting these companies question, right? So I think to be as undisingenuous as possible, I want to look at $437 million for a Fantastic Four movie as maybe kind of okay. It's not a property that a lot of people believe in on the big screen. Now, I thought it had the potential to do better than that because of the kind of like refreshing take it looked like in the trailers to a lot of people, right? Being a period piece, doing the retrofuturism thing, but it's got that reputation, so it could have been, and maybe we'll get sequels and maybe they'll do better. It's hard to say, but it could be that kind of Batman Begins thing where people aren't sure about it, so they don't go right away. But then a lot of people did go right away, and then they didn't go the next weekend. So it could just be that everybody that thought Fantastic Four can work on the big screen were going to go the first week, and the reason it drops off is because you have all these people that think that's stupid. And so they're not going to go a second week. If you think about it with that logic, it almost makes sense it had this huge drop-off. You see what I'm saying? So ignore for a second, and obviously you can't fully ignore this, but ignore for a second that it costs what it costs. The fact that a Fantastic Four movie, which is a property that a lot of people think is just a dumb idea on the big screen, and I have never agreed with that, makes over $400 million, means that the superhero fatigue thing is just not quite as true as people think it is. But we will never know if Josh Trank's movie in 2015 could have done way better than that if it was great. I submit, I don't think that movie does over $500 million even if it's brilliant. But it's also a way different take, and it's kind of for a different audience. So it's really hard to compare these things.
Yeah, definitely.
Really hard to compare them.
Yeah, I don't know. But Paradox Camera says maybe Galactus ate the box office.
Yeah, maybe so. But you look at Man of Steel, right? You know, you go back to 2013, and Man of Steel grosses $670 million. You were asking, what if these movies came out 10 years ago? Yeah. Would they do any better than they're doing now? Man of Steel did 670, and Superman is doing 600. Like, really close together.
Wow.
And there's a lot of really interesting factors that contribute to the success or lack thereof, depending on how you want to look at it. Where Man of Steel underperformed for what Warner Brothers was expecting, and some of that was because of how polarizing it was, particularly with the neck snap, right? And if memory serves, it had kind of a drop-off second weekend. I don't think it was as steep as Fantastic Four. I'd have to go back and look again. Maybe somebody can tell us. But Austin also sent me this, and I don't know where this came from. This was, I think, just a fan that put this together, so I don't have a source for this, but you can double-check my information with this. These things are all true. But I'll read this out real quick. When you compare Superman and Man of Steel, the variables in why each of these did what they did are really interesting. This kind of superhero fatigue thing now versus, or perceived anyway, and again, I think there is some truth to that, but I think that's been largely inflated. But you look at that versus how like massively popular superhero movies were in 2013. That's like the peak of them, or at least it's kind of the start of the peak. Like, you know, Avengers is huge before that. Obviously, a few years later, Infinity War will hit like the absolute ceiling. But this is when consistently all these movies are doing pretty well. So Man of Steel 2013, Superman this year. This guy says superhero movies were at their peak in 2013. They're seen as saturated now. Consumers' purchasing power was higher, he says, in 2013. Most people's purchasing power has decreased now, he says. That's true. So we're looking at the value of the dollar. 4, there weren't as many tensions between USA and other countries then. Now, other countries aren't liking us, like I mentioned earlier. 5, streaming wasn't considered a substitute for TV and cinema. Now people prefer watching and streaming rather than going to the cinema. And I think that is key. That, again, I'm not saying Fantastic Four is not a failure. Again, against its box office. I'm saying that in an age where there's so much vying for our attention and everybody's kind of split on what they're watching, the fact that these kinds of movies can still rake in 400 is not insignificant. I just want to throw that out there. 6, Man of Steel released a year after Dark Knight Rises, which was a huge success. And this movie, Superman, released after The Flash and Joker 2. So like I said earlier, there is that curiosity about the reboot, but there's also the lingering effect of the last things the studio has produced. Again, Batman Begins would have, huge critically successful movie, would have performed a lot better if people didn't have Batman and Robin in the back of their minds. And then because we could wash the taste of that out of our mouths with this, like, really good, critically acclaimed Batman movie in 05, Dark Knight breaks all the records.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Right?
Yep.
7, DC Comics was still a respected brand. 7, DC Comics has a tarnished image after so many bad or controversial films, with few exceptions like the Batman. 8, Man of Steel faced no major competition during its theatrical run. To your point, Jason, 8, it premiered between Jurassic World and Fantastic Four, and yet they both have made almost the same box office. And so people saying, look, with respect, people saying, look how bad Superman is doing, because I am hearing that. It's like there's a lot of factors that affect that box office, and in some ways, like I thought it would actually do a lot better than it did, and I was naive on that. So I will take the L with that. But I'll also say, if you look at all the factors going against it, it did quite well, and I hope it at least made its money back. But like Warner's and James Gunn are real happy with it because it's a foundation, it's a starting point, and it was really well liked by a lot of people, and so they're building clout. Superman is a Batman Begins situation. It absolutely is. Fantastic Four is a Flash situation.
Yeah.
That's not 1-to-1, and people, well, it's not at all, because people hated Flash, but my point is, that's a movie that, I can't think of a good, like, DC comparison, because we haven't really had any movies that were, like, great, but, well, maybe it's the Suicide Squad. Well, no, the Batman did okay. Maybe it's more of like the Suicide Squad situation.
The Suicide Squad. I don't know how well the Suicide Squad did.
Well, and that one's weird, because it's kind of a COVID movie.
Right.
So
comparing box office is weird.
Yeah, and that's really
especially when you adjust for inflation and stuff. But like,
so most of what I have are just kind of big question marks, like I said, with this. But let's get into what this potentially means for the future of the MCU, because that also is a big question mark for me. If the reason it had a steep drop-off is everybody that believed in just, forget MCU, just Fantastic Four, went and saw it first weekend, and then nobody else was going to go, it may not bode whatsoever for what the future holds. Now, I still think there's no possible way Doomsday makes money, because the budget is just insanely inflated, especially what they're paying Downey. It just looks like it would need to hit $700-800, if not $1 billion, and it ain't going to do that. Oh. I just don't see it. Yeah, and so they have put. It's complicated, right? In some ways, they have to put all their eggs in that basket right now because they're going to reboot their universe, and so they've got to get people excited about what they're going to turn it into. But I also think, and I've said this before, sorry if I'm a broken record, but I also think that they still don't fully understand some of their problems and why people don't trust them anymore. And they're still maybe after Fantastic Four, they will be less this way. I don't know. But I still think there's this kind of inflated ego thing with all the successes that they had years ago where they're having trouble just being realistic about expectations and about what their reputation is now. And so they think you throw... They think that they can recreate, or at least they're trying to make us, maybe it's three-dimensional chess, they're trying to make us think that they think this so they can make it happen. But they're operating as if they can recreate the success of Endgame, of Infinity War and Endgame, in doing 2 movies with the Russos, with practically every character that is currently in the MCU, or at least a whole lot of them, plus a bunch of characters from other movies that they're roping into this multiverse from previous franchises, right? And they're going, if we can make this gigantic event, everyone will feel like they absolutely have to go. And there's 2 reasons I don't trust that. One of them is Deadpool and Wolverine beat them to the punch on it, where that just scratches that itch well enough. Are people really going to care as hard as they think they will about seeing actors or seeing characters from the old X-Men franchise again, etc., etc.? And then the idea that it's such a huge event to have like all of these characters back and to bring Downey back and all of that, where everybody will feel like they just absolutely have to go. These are the things I feel like are actually creating fatigue. It's just the make it bigger and bigger and bigger. And it's not as much about, a good story and a story you can't miss.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I really don't know what's going to happen with Doomsday. And I really don't know if their plans are going to change. Because they seem like they're not changing any of their plans after anything that's happened this year.
Yeah, but keep in mind that their plans have been, we're full-blown rebooting, which suggests that they at least understand some of the problems. Mm-hmm. Again, that's why I'm saying it might be a little bit of three-dimensional chess, where they feel like they still have to put on a brave front and look real confident, which is why they do the stupid going across the chairs thing with Doomsday. But to me, that just makes them look really out of touch. And I know a lot of people made fun of them for that and felt like it made them look out of touch. I think the smarter thing to have done, tell me if you guys agree with this, and I'm just spitballing off the top of my head. I wonder if the smarter move might have been, instead of splitting that up into 2 movies, doing a simpler, and it would still have to be an event because you're going to reboot the movie, or you're going to reboot the universe. Do a simpler movie with a smaller cast, sort of like Secret Wars and the last episode of the 90s Spider-Man show, where you're doing that event but with a more intimate kind of cast, and do maybe an epic 2.5, 3-hour movie, but have a smaller budget than the gigantic, insane, inflated thing that they're doing. Make it just 1 movie, and then, in as classy a way as possible, reboot the universe, and kind of in sort of a fun, tongue-in-cheek way say, yeah, we know we screwed up. Mm-hmm. I think what they need to show right now is a little bit of humility as opposed to, like, strength.
Yeah.
I may be wrong about that. But I'm going to say what I said after Endgame. And Endgame was this gigantic success. Now I think it's true for the opposite reason. When they won't do this, and I said this back then, and they didn't, and they should have. But you know what I'm going to say? After Secret Wars, they need to not put out anything for at least a year. And I mean anything. I mean movies, Disney Plus shows, anything. And you might think, well, that lets Gunn really get ahead of them, and they're not competing while... I don't even want to say the iron's hot, but like they're not competing while Gunn and DC are taking all the market share. Let them have it for a year. Hell, let them have it for 2 years, and then come back and sleeper drop a trailer for the most comic booky looking X-Men movie that's ever been made. Mm-hmm. And I'm telling you, people will come back.
Yeah.
And it would be like Superman. You have to be careful not to make that movie cost too much, because it'll be like Superman, it'll be Batman Begins, it'll be trepidatious, it'll do okay, but if it costs $300 million, it won't. Right. So much of this is just about what the movie costs. Now, let me backtrack for a second and say, with Fantastic Four, that's a hard movie to make if you want to go cosmic and go to space, and do Galactus and all of that, without a pretty big budget. So it is understandable that that movie is going to cost at least 150, if not 200 million. Mm-hmm. But if they inflated it with reshoots to 350, they're insane if they thought for sure that was going to make money and save them. Because I said years ago, Fantastic Four is one of the last giant properties with Marvel that they haven't done yet in MCU, besides X-Men, that they have a chance at like replacing some of the legacy characters with, and maybe making people really excited about it. It has to be successful. It has to work out. And look, it didn't. But I said that before I knew they were going to full-on reboot. Mm-hmm. And if they reboot correctly, they can potentially turn the thing around. Is it ever going to be what it was 10 years ago? No. Or even 6 years ago? Probably not. But as I've said a lot, you drop the budgets, you stop relying so much on CG, you make smaller, more, like, I don't want to say artsy movies, but like more creator-driven kinds of projects, and you make it a lot less about a big universe and a big story that you're building through all of these movies, and you do basically exactly what DC is doing right now, and they'll be fine. But I think they need some time off. And the second thing I think they need to do, and this might sound controversial, and this is like no ill will to the guy, because I think he's done amazing work in the past. Feige's got to go. Because he's just burnt out, and he's done it for too long. The biggest thing they need is new blood right now.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that Feige doesn't need to work. I think he could go over and run Star Wars, or like which he's wanted to do, or go run something else that he'll be excited about and not burn out on. But the problem has not been just what he's said of, well, we oversaturate, we put too many projects out. No, it's that you're this machine that just churns out stuff and has your mitts and everything. And like Feige was admitted recently that he wasn't even like paying enough attention to all the projects that were happening, so there wasn't enough oversight. And like, yes, that's a problem, but there were also too many projects that they didn't allow creators, or I should say directors, to just make the movie they wanted to make. So it still was the machine controlling everything, even if Feige wasn't always the fulcrum of that machine. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? Well, what are people saying in the comment?
People are talking about other movies.
And no one cares about this anymore.
Austin says the original Secret Wars might have a smaller cast than these movies.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
Right? It doesn't need to be every friggin' person that's ever been in a Marvel movie.
Austin and I were talking about this. Doomsday, I don't know what's going on. I don't know why they're making 4 different movies in one movie.
Uh-huh.
I don't know why they have to have... Did you know we just got reported 2 more teams? Doom's gonna have a team and Loki's gonna have a team.
Oh, no.
So not only are they having the Avengers and the new Avengers and the X-Men and the Fantastic Four, we're gonna have whatever the heck Loki's team is and whatever the heck Doom's team is.
All in one movie.
All in one movie. And so you're making a throwback X-Men movie. You're making the Robert Downey Doom movie. You're making another Civil War with Avengers versus New Avengers. You're making, like Fantastic Four Coming to Earth movie. Like, I don't know, or Fantastic Four Coming to this universe.
And you're trying to build on now nostalgia for Infinity Wars and Endgame, which was already about the nostalgia of the 10 years of movies they'd made before that.
Yeah.
In bringing back the Russos, and so the whole thing ends up weirdly looking like a 2-part legacy sequel?
Yes.
To every Marvel thing that has ever existed. And I don't mean MCU, I mean ever.
I'm pretty sure this is
it will have X-Men 97 nostalgia on top of X-Men movie nostalgia. I guarantee
it
that.
Will. I'm pretty sure this is why there wasn't as much Fox X-Men stuff in Deadpool Wolverine. I'm pretty sure this is why all of the throwback stuff was other Fox things,
or at least a lot of it. There were a few things.
Yeah, but it was all like villains and stuff.
It was all in the background. Yeah.
You didn't
right.
have...
Well, Professor X. Oh no, I'm sorry, not Professor X. What am I talking about? For a second there's a lot of these things. For a second I was thinking about Multiverse of Madness, I guess. But because that's why you've got Cassandra Nova, but not a Professor X.
Right, and that's why you have...
Which still irks me, because she was so good. I hate that I might never see her on screen with a Professor X.
Mm-hmm.
Hell, maybe she'll be in this.
Oh my god.
Freaking everyone else will be.
They also... We need to talk about this. They also...
Austin, we need to do a speculation cast for Doomsday.
They also have said that they're going to...
we need to do another one, if we've already done one.
They also said that they're going to tell us... they're going to give us a new batch of... actors. I don't know if they're gonna do more chairs or not. I don't know.
Oh god. So and I've said this before, but I wish they would leave more of that to our imaginations and not do the DC Crisis thing.
I agree.
The CW Crisis thing, and tell us about every freaking person that's gonna be in this movie. Mm-hmm. Stop it. Because obviously a lot of them have to just be cameos. And look, I'm even okay with that. I'm even okay with... You're destroying the old universe, you're going to do Battle World, you cut to lots of these different places, and you let actors come in and hopefully get to do a cool thing for a couple of minutes, but it's just a couple of minutes, just a world build, just to go, like, look at all these places. Because think about it, this doesn't feel as gimmicky in comics, because if you draw a character in a couple of panels that you're not going to see again, it doesn't feel as like forced in and why don't they get more to do as when you bring back an actor to play it. Mm-hmm. But if we could think about this more like a comic, sometimes it makes sense to just see a person and go, oh cool, they're there, and like we're just sort of world building. Yeah. But at the point where you tell me who they all are first, like CW Crisis did, and then you just get their 30-second cameo, it feels way lamer, because I was excited to see that person.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Because you're expecting more because they did it.
Because they told you about it, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, are any of... Say again.
Listen up, Marvel.
I gotta tell you, man, I did not know about all those teams. That's insane.
Yep.
That movie's gonna be 4.5 hours.
It has to be.
It's gonna need to be 4 movies at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, like between these 2 movies are gonna need to be 2 movies.
Yeah. I don't even...
Oh. So, are any of our super chats about this topic?
Might be.
Can you check real quick? Because I saw we have at least a few, and we've got about 5 minutes before the break.
We have a couple, both from Joel Davis. $5 from Joel Davis. According to insiders, Marvel plans to go forward with Fantastic Four after Doomsday and bring on Matt Shakman as director.
Oh, interesting.
And he puts in another $2 super chat. Live action Lilo and Stitch made $1 billion, so...
Oh, that's true. That's nuts. Yeah, I think I heard that Fantastic Four is like the 10th highest grossing movie this year, and Superman is the 3rd.
The 3rd, okay. Interesting. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah. So, well, and just remember, like, you know, $200 million is not an insignificant difference. Like, Superman obviously did perform quite a bit better than this did, comparatively, and that was not a cheap movie to make, but it wasn't $350 million. Yeah. Like, I trust its budget. Like when we're told that was like $225 or whatever it is, like that's still an expensive movie. I'm seeing more of it on screen than Fantastic Four.
I want to know,
because Fantastic Four still, and I know some people don't agree with this, but that movie still feels a little unfinished to me. Yeah. And so when it cost that much and it felt rushed,
I want to know what
and like
Disney's
they should have taken more time.
Half of their money sometimes.
Yeah.
Like,
And things
that
that
could
would
look a lot
look
better.
more realistic if you did it the cheaper way. How much money did they spend on CG that made scenes look worse than if they just used costumes that they built and put on the set? We've been talking about this a lot lately, but they keep CGing over crap that looked better than the CG. They're paying artists to do that. They're rushing them, and they're not giving them enough time to make it look as good as it could, and it would still look better if they didn't even do it.
And look at both, and this is why they need to take a year off. Look at both Godzilla -1 and Planet of the Apes 4.
Mm-hmm.
Look at how good both of those movies look, and how much time they spent on those movies, and how little money they spent on those movies.
Yeah.
Or at least with Planet of the Apes, how much you can tell they spent all of their money on that.
Real quick, we got just a couple minutes before the break. I want to address this because I'm getting why people are saying this, and I feel like I just don't have enough information to know if I'm right about the way I've been talking about this. So the Dodfather says, why are people pretending Superman did well? The problem is I don't know exactly what the advertising budget is for a thing like that. And I know it was huge. I mean, like, I know they had a gigantic advertising campaign. So your budget for that movie was two something. It was like 225, 250. And it did 600 million. So it either made its money back, or it did like slightly better than that and turned a little bit of a profit. Again, it all depends on what the goal is behind the people making it, right? Sometimes you make a thing to break even or to go at a slight loss for future return. And that's a movie that needed to look spectacular and, you know, cost some money to make. Could they have made that for less than they did? It's hard to say. I don't know. I was surprised to see that budget, though, that it was that high. So admittedly, I kind of wish it didn't have to cost what it cost, because I think it did pretty well given all the factors I talked about.
Yeah.
But it was also a very expensive thing to make and a very expensive thing to advertise. And part of the reason it did as well as it did was advertising. But it's all a matter of perspective, and it's all a matter of intent, right? So if the intent is to get people talking about this new universe, and they'll do that at a slight loss or to break even, hoping it would do better than that, of course. But again, they seem happy with it, which suggests that. And I don't think that's just PR. I think they actually are happy with it. And that suggests that it was more about banking on people believing in the world and caring about seeing more of it and future earnings than it was about how much exactly this made. Now, I also want to say that a lot of stuff, and this goes to a conversation that some people were having in the comments before we started broadcasting, so I don't want to steal anybody's points, but I noticed people were talking about this and saying some of the same things I've been thinking about it, which is a lot of things right now seem to be being made at a loss or barely breaking even, both in movie theaters and especially streaming. It just doesn't look like streaming services are turning a profit, but look at the enormous amount of money that they're spending on the content they're making. I don't understand enough about this business right now. It doesn't operate the way it used to, and it seems like everything about it is changing for the worse in how you make money up front and how you continue to earn after the fact. With royalties, with reruns, we don't have those anymore. It's just streaming. With video sales, we don't have that the way we used to. People don't care about owning movies anymore. A lot of people just wait until it's streaming for free somewhere. Not for free, but with a subscription. So how much does video on demand make you? Certainly nothing close to what VHS or DVD sales used to, etc., etc. How does anyone turn a profit in this industry now? Nobody can answer that question. Well, I can. You slash the budgets and you make everything for $40 to $50 million. That's how you make a profit. They're not doing that.
Nope.
And so, I it's unfair to say it's all superhero fatigue and look at the budgets versus how much they're making, both with FF and Superman. These two things, even though they're third and 10th like best-selling movies this year, aren't turning a profit. Therefore, they're gigantic failures. Therefore, everyone should turn around and go home. If you go look at movies in general right now, I think a lot of things are doing this.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just hard to say how anybody's making any money right now.
Yeah.
Godfather Superman's already going to streaming. That's a white flag if I ever saw one. I was surprised that it was going to streaming as fast as it was. Really? Yeah. I don't know if I agree with white flag. I'm not 100% sure about Warner's and Gunn's motivation behind doing that. Mm-hmm. If it's just yes, there's a lot of competition now, and it's dropped off enough that it doesn't make sense to keep it in the theater for too much longer. Sure, it's a movie that I seriously thought would be in the theater for another couple weeks longer at least than it has been. But it's also I don't know if I agree with white flag. It's also potentially a good strategy in keeping people interested in talking about it. Like, that's all they seem to care about right now, which kind of makes sense for that, for starting that universe, is we just want people watching Superman. Mm-hmm. We don't even care how much money we're making with it. Just keep talking about Superman.
Yeah.
Kind of makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is not the perfect scenario for them. I wish it had made $800 million. And I'm sure they do too.
Yeah.
But I think in the long run, to say, in the long game they're playing, that this is a failure is premature. Mm-hmm. It is not premature to say that for Fantastic Four, especially when Doomsday is mitigated so hard on those characters. Mm-hmm. But it's also hard for me to say whether that movie had any chance of doing much better than it did with reputation of that property.
Yeah.
But considering how good it did, I don't mean to talk in circles, but considering how good it did opening weekend, you're nuts for putting it up against Superman. And it had the chance of doing an extra 100.
Yeah.
Which again means you're barely breaking even, mm-hmm. probably. If you are at all. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Yeah.
Whole thing is very complicated and difficult to talk about.
It's really weird.
Alex 409, that's not a white flag, that's just the state of the theatrical release windows.
Yeah, there are lots of movies that also did that.
Yeah, I mean, it is pretty darn quick.
Yeah.
They're not going to video for another month, though.
Yeah.
Austin, it's also got a digital release at the same time Jurassic World Rebirth did. Yeah, that came out, last week.
Yeah, no,
so I don't know about white flag, because, that movie did that pretty quick,
and
too.
And Austin said it's not going to streaming, it's going to digital purchase.
Which are different things, yeah. So it's going video on demand. It's not, and maybe he didn't understand that when we said that, but it's not going to HBO Max.
Yeah.
It's going to, you can rent it for $20, which is essentially like what we did during COVID, where we didn't have movie theaters, so you had to pay a premium to watch it at home. We're just doing that a great deal faster, and COVID had a lot to do with getting us to that place. But it's still, like I said, it's just a little faster than I thought it would go.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, let's go ahead and go to break.
Okay.
Shall we?
Yeah.
We're going to take a 4-minute break. We'll be right back, and then we'll have part 2 of tonight's Captain Logan show. Jason's got a segment for us. I don't know what he's doing yet. And we'll do some Q&A through the rest of the second half, and then right at the end, I will show off some of the stuff I got for my birthday yesterday. I got some cool geeky stuff. I'll show it to you guys. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you in just a couple of minutes. and comfortable Captain Logan show. It's time for the second half of this evening's stream, and right now it's time for something completely different. I have no idea what Jason has in store for us, but he keeps laughing
doing your
about
birthday
it.
First, or
No, we're gonna do that right at the end.
okay?
We've got enough going on. There's super chats and things that I figure we'll just make that the last segment tonight. We'll stave off the other thing I was going to do, if that's cool with you. We're always just making it up as we go along. But Jason seems to have something very silly planned. So,
It's not silly. It's just warning. I threw this together.
in like 16 seconds?
Yeah. It was like 10 minutes.
Folks are still talking about the lead-in topic in the comments, the box office with Fantastic Four and also Superman. If you guys want to talk more about that later in super chats or direct questions to Jason, we can always
and don't forget to change the title. We
can always bring it back up, no problem. Thanks, Jason. Mm-hmm. And now it's time for something completely different. Go ahead, Jason.
Welcome to the Next Generation segment. We haven't had this in like a month. This is top 10 video game characters that should get their own spin-offs.
Okay. Only spin-off video games that that never have?
Should get their own spin-off games that have never gotten that.
Cool.
Because, you have things like Princess Peach, which has now had two.
That's right.
And you have a whole series with Luigi's Mansion and all that other stuff. So, at number 10, I have a Goomba. I think.
Do you have pitches for each of these? What is your
kind of? Yeah.
What is your Goomba game look like?
I think you should.
And why have you never gotten to play as a Goomba really much? I guess it's just because they don't really have like arms. But I mean, like, you could be a piranha plant in multiple games. Why can't you be like Goomba's never driven a Mario Kart. He doesn't hold a tennis racket.
He's in the new Mario Kart.
He's in the new Mario Kart? Mm-hmm. Okay, but the new Mario Kart, I think, lets you drive as like trees and crap. So
it has at least a cow. So.
Is there a cow?
Yeah, there's a cow.
I haven't played it
yet. And a bat, I think. So yeah, I think it would be.
Of course.
I think a very interesting mechanic could be stacking Goombas, like in Super Mario Odyssey.
Oh.
And I don't know.
Sort of like a Toad Treasure Tracker
I
thing.
feel like
make it like a puzzle game.
You could do like a Captain Toad Treasure Tracker kind of thing, where like instead of not being able to jump, you don't have hands.
Okay, all right.
Maybe that's the thing. But yeah, I think it's just interesting. Like that's such a iconic Mario character.
I've got it too.
It hasn't.
You know what you do to go under doors and things?
Yeah.
You find something to stomp on you on purpose, and then you get flattened, and then you go underneath things.
Yeah.
While you're flattened.
Yeah.
Because Goombas get flattened a lot. No, there's a lot there. And then you can get wings and flutter because you got like floating Goombas. Mm-hmm. I also see you doing things as a Koopa Troopa. If you had a game where you throw your shell, then you have to go back and grab a shell and put it back on yourself, or you lose your shell, you have to find another shell somewhere in the level and then put it back on you. Like, I think a Koopa Troopa actually could even maybe have more legs than a Goomba.
Yeah.
Is that on your list?
No, no. I tried to not have that many Mario characters, and also villains. Although I will say, number 9 is very similar to Goomba. Number 9 is the ghosts from Pac-Man.
Oh, sure.
I
don't know that you've ever been able to play as the ghosts.
I don't know why there hasn't been a game where you are the one who's eating Pac-Man, and then you go away from him when he becomes. I feel like you could make a really good horror game out of this.
It'd be really fun if it was 3-dimensional.
Yeah, that would be fun. Yeah, I don't know why there hasn't
been...
But
that sounds like a Roblox game to me.
I feel like you could... Yeah. I feel like you could have, like, a Blinky game. And then what you can do is, if it's successful, you make Mrs. Blinky and Baby Blinky and Blinky Jr. And then you make a...
Blinky Attack?
Yeah. And then you do a platformer called Blinkland.
Sure.
Number 8 is a character you don't know, but this is...
Braden says there's a 3D platform where you play as them, maybe.
Yeah, I think there are games where you play as them.
Which game is he talking about, do you know?
Nope.
Okay, moving right along.
I don't play a lot of Pac-Man. besides the Pac-Man, like Pac-Man. Um, At number 8 is Impa. This is a Zelda character.
Okay.
And yeah, I get it. This is an old lady sometimes. I'm not talking about the old lady version. I'm talking about something more similar to Skyward Sword or Hyrule Warriors. I think it would be really cool if she has her, like, big sword and you have like a more combat-based game. I think it shouldn't be on the as much on like Hyrule Warrior side, but I do think you should be able to attack people with your sword and just play as Impa. I think, and then maybe you can get like helpful hints from your older self or something. I think that would be cool. At number 7 is Rosalina.
Sure.
I don't know why there isn't a Rosalina game. You can play as her in Mario 3D World. She's not great in that game, but
well, and she's been a Mario Kart character.
Yeah. I don't know. I think just making Lumas attack people, that would be fun.
Yeah.
And stuff like that.
Take the whole thing back to space.
Yeah. So like I honestly would like that more than a Mario Galaxy 3.
What
I think it would be cool.
What I'd like to see would be a crossover Nintendo game that's all space stuff. Like we've, crossed other characters in Mario Kart, and of course Smash is a bunch of different things. But what if we did it for a big space epic kind of game where you cross like Mario Galaxy with Metroid with Star Fox?
Hey, I did a whole segment about that.
Yeah, as a story. But it'd be fun as a game.
Yeah, it'd be really fun as a game.
Where you could have... You make it kind of like... What was that? Was it Star Fox Adventures on the GameCube? Is that what that was called? That had... like... ground levels, but also space levels.
Yeah.
Or did it not have space levels?
I can't really have space levels.
Oh, that's right. But
Star Fox Assault has both.
Okay, but I would have a game that had a variety of different level types.
Yeah.
Where sometimes it's a space shooter.
Like Star Wars Battlefront.
Like Battlefront, yeah.
Except, not at all. That level-wise.
Level-wise, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
At number 6, Mighty the Armadillo. The video game.
Okay.
Why not?
Sure.
Also, I mean, like,
you also get to, you already get to play as Mighty in a couple of different games.
Bring in the Chaotix again.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And
do you mean as 2D or 3D, or does it matter?
I think 2D. Make Ray a member of the Chaotix. Why not?
Oh sure.
I don't know. I think that would be fun. Number 5 is one I've talked about for a while.
I think you risk it being maybe too like Rocket Knight Adventures or something, but
maybe, yeah.
Anyway.
Number 5 is one, I don't know if I've talked about this on the channel, but I talk about this a lot in real life. Timber the Tiger from Diddy Kong Racing.
Oh,
this is a character who, for years, we're going to make him the main character in this game. No, we're not. We're going to scrap that idea.
Really?
We're going to make him a main character in this game. No, we're not.
I didn't know that.
So, we were just talking about this. Star Fox Adventures was originally Timber the Tiger, the video game.
Seriously?
So, basically, Diddy Kong Racing was, like...
fascinating. And Diddy Kong Racing was supposed to be a different game initially.
Yes. Yes, it was. Diddy Kong Racing was originally going to be RC Pro-Am 64.
Right.
With, guess who? Timber the Tiger
really?
as the main character.
That's amazing.
So... Diddy Kong Racing was supposed to be like, here's all of these characters, and then throughout the next few years, Rare is going to make games based on all these characters. And really we really only got like 3 characters that were made in 2 games. We got Banjo-Kazooie, we got Conker, and we got Tip Tup, who's a Banjo-Kazooie character.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
But I don't know, I like Timber, and he's one of my he's probably my favorite Diddy Kong Racing character, and I think it would be, I wish.
Just for the sake of the history of it, it seems about time.
I don't know if anyone would buy it.
Braden says that Microsoft happened.
Yeah, basically. Number 4, Star Wolf, just a Star Wolf game.
Who's that?
That would be cool. It's basically the rival team to Star Fox.
Oh, okay, okay.
And
I got ahead of you.
Yeah, you did. In two of them. I don't know. I think filling out like criminal missions and stuff in space would be cool. And like actually like working for like I'm trying not to make a lot of these bad guys, but some of these kind of have to be bad guys.
Sure.
Because I think it could work. Number 3, I have Funky Kong.
What would you do with a Funky Kong game?
I think it could be either 2D or 3D. I think a Funky Kong game would be really cool. But also like he's like the easy mode in Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. But I want to be able to play as him, not as easy mode. And I think it would be cool to. I mean, he has cool mechanics. In that game, you know, he can use his like, his board, and like hit people with it. I think that's cool. And he's a beloved character at this point.
That's true, and you can actually play as him in a game now.
Yeah. Number 2, this was the last one I thought of. It took me forever to think of this, and then I was like, oh yeah, why isn't this character in a game? Or this character isn't really even in a game. This character is Rob.
Oh, sure. Well, he is weird. You can play him in Smash.
Yeah, you can play him in Smash and Mario Kart DS.
Is that a platformer?
I don't know. I really don't know.
Is it a puzzle game?
Probably some sort of puzzle game.
Yeah.
But he's not.
Is it a run and gun?
Maybe.
Maybe.
Could be. Yeah. I think the world finally needs a Rob game.
Brayden says Funky Kong is overrated, and people only like him because of Mario Kart Wii.
Well, that's true, but that's yeah.
I think it should be. Funky Kong should just be a surfing game. It should all be on water.
That'd be cool. And then at number 1, I have Meta Knight.
Okay.
Meta Knight, the video game.
Sure.
That's not what it's called. That's not what it'd be called, but yeah.
I think it should just be called Meta Knight 2, and we just pretend like he had a game before.
What?
Meta Knight 2. How was the first one? We don't talk about that. Why? It's not a thing.
It's not even a thing. Meta Knight has just really cool game mechanics. In Smash and just as a boss.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, one of my favorite, probably at this point, one of my favorite video game bosses. Just like he's really fun. I think he's, I would say he's even better than a lot of Mega Man bosses. Like, I thought about like, you know, which would be the best Mega Man boss to spin off into his own game, and I couldn't really think of one that was like the Mega Man boss.
Yeah.
But I think Meta Knight would be a good game, or just Meta Knight is a main character along with Kirby.
What about giving a game to Mega Man's dog?
That would be funny.
We could do that.
I don't know what he would do.
The couple of thoughts I had real briefly,
yeah,
and I'll bring these up because you didn't really go to fighting games, and I have a couple fighting game ones.
The thing is, fighting games, a lot of them don't really have main characters.
Right.
They have rosters.
But that's what I'm saying is I can think of characters that I could spin off into different game types from characters that are in video game or in fighting game rosters. I've got two. The first one is a thing that almost happened, which is Akira from Virtua Fighter with Shenmue. Yes. Virtua Fighter. So Shenmue is a kind of beloved. Did it start on Dreamcast or Saturn? I think Dreamcast. I actually can't. I think it's Dreamcast. But anyway, because I think the deal was it was originally being developed for Saturn, and then once they changed it to Dreamcast, they dropped the Virtua Fighter connection. So it was originally supposed to be Virtua Fighter the RPG. I don't know if you know that. And it was going to star Akira. And they changed Akira to a different character who is basically Akira. And he has Akira's exact fighting sad. And so when he does fight in that game, he fights like Akira, and it's got a bunch of Virtua Fighter like kind of broad references and connections. But I kind of wish that had just been Virtua Fighter. So I actually bought that recently. I haven't played it yet.
Oh, you have that?
Shenmue. Yeah, Steam had a sale on a pack of the original 2 for like $6, so I bought it. But like I said, I haven't played it yet. The other thing that occurs to me off the top of my head is Spinal from Killer Instinct.
Yeah.
Who I think could have a real cool hack and slash, either 2D or 3D platformer. Spinal in like a God of War kind of thing.
Sure.
I think could be really cool. I like playing as skeletons.
I still think you would really like Hyrule Warriors.
Okay, I'll try it sometime.
Or just a Warriors game, like a Dynasty Warriors. I think you'd like it.
Okay. That was a fun segment. Mm-hmm. You made it sound like it was just going to be the dumbest thing.
Well, and then I started with Goomba. So.
Sure. I still think Koopa Troop is even the better one. What if you had a game where you play as a blooper?
No.
Well, you could do a cool like water game.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm thinking you could spin off a lot of Mario bad guys.
What if you just play
They spin off better than Badniks would.
What if you just play as... That's true. Well...
Like, I'm going to play as the mechanical fish.
To be fair, there is a game called Flicky.
Well, I know Flicky, sure. But that's not even playing as the bad... That's playing as...
The creature inside.
Creature that was kidnapped to be in a robot.
Yeah. Well, Flicky is the same kind of thing as Saberwolf, where, like, you could say, oh, Saberwolf should have his own game. He does. He has his own series.
Saberwolf?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
But that's because...
Wait, Saberwolf, the Killer Instinct character?
He starts as, like, weird, like, I don't even know, like, a horror action game? I don't even know.
I didn't know that.
From the 80s, and then he spins off into Killer Instinct.
I didn't know that.
But Flicky is from an arcade game and goes into... Sonic.
What if Yoshimitsu had his own game?
Ooh. Yeah.
Just imagine what you would do with that.
Oh, and I had a really funny idea for a video game where you play as Kazuya and it's just throwing people off a cliff simulator.
It's like the opposite side of Lemmings.
Yeah.
Awesome people.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get to Q&A. Let's get to Super Chats. And once again, if you leave a Super Chat, we will guarantee that we talk about your topic, but also you'll be in the running to get a link for the... Sorry, my brain is freezing. A link for the showing for Superhero Rewind the movie that we're going to do the Tuesday before the release. So it'll be 3 days before we post it on the channel. And that's also when we'll make it available for or we'll put up the early link for everybody that paid for that just immediately after that. So you'll be able to watch it on your own, but you won't be able to watch it with us unless you paid for that tier or you win this. And like I said, I'll make this available for the next couple of weeks. And you know what? We've gotten enough Super Chats already. I'm going to spice it up, and I'm going to say top 2 will get the link.
Well, right now the winner is Joel Davis.
So we'll figure out who the runner-up is with that.
The runner-up is tied right now.
Oh, okay. Okay, well, we'll see if anybody else throws in. And it's also possible that one of those guys is already getting this, too.
Right.
But anyway, let's continue, shall we?
Yes. Oh, no, this is going to be...
Try to beef that out so we have a bigger audience for it.
This is going to be a long topic. Okay.
Oh, goodness. Okay. I will try to be as brief as I can get away with.
$2 from OK Great. Thoughts
Thanks,
on
OK
Spider-Man 4's Cast Edition, Hulk and Punisher?
Oh, no, I'm glad he brought this up. Hulk's in it?
Mm-hmm.
I hadn't heard that yet. Have you seen any of the set photos?
Like, all of them.
Yeah.
They keep showing up in my feed.
What I'm seeing with the set photos is exciting.
It is, yeah.
The suit looks great. It looks like a kind of a cross between, like...
All three
of the live-action iterations. And they've got a stuntman on wires physically swinging off a crane, and it's so cool they're doing that stuff practical, and I'm just scared to death they're gonna CG over it.
Yep.
I hope to hell that doesn't happen, but everything I'm seeing about how they're making this one, it just looks like they really care to go as street level as they can, and I hope they've got the script to match. because it looks like they're going back to basics and really trying to make a cool neighborhood Spider-Man movie, and so that's exciting. I don't know how I feel about the Punisher thing. I realize the Punisher starts as a Spider-Man character, and I hope that's neat. I mean, like, I'm of two minds about it.
And it being street level, too.
Yeah, it's hard to imagine that working in a PG-13 movie. Everybody always has that problem where it's like, how violent will the Punisher be allowed to be in a Spider-Man movie? How much are we going to take his teeth away? How jokey is he going to end up being? There's those sorts of questions. And I want it to be as unconnected from the TV shows as possible, because I didn't like what I saw of Born Again. There was some okay stuff in the first couple episodes. It completely lost me with 4. I've never finished it. I was starting to really turn on it, and I wasn't liking. I only saw his introduction, and I thought that scene was kind of awful. And if they just kind of bring him in and don't make it too much about anything he's done before, and he's able to just kind of be a character in it, like, it might work out, but I don't know how to feel about that. Hulk is odd.
Yeah.
Like, it makes me wonder what the story is.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And also, I hope it's still, like, Spider-Man's movie. Like, I don't have a problem with some of these characters crossing in and being supporting characters, but it's time to get full-on away from the mentor character, which we tend to do with these, right? Where, like, it's going to be Iron Man, or it's going to be Doctor Strange, or whoever it is. The mentor character, or just the like other major character that he is, kind of be told what to do.
Yeah.
With Punisher, you want it to be more of an antagonistic kind of thing, and so, like, I don't know in principle have a problem with it, but I don't know if I trust it. Yeah. And then Hulk, I don't even know what to say about. That's shocking to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, what is this story? But I love that I can't peg the story. I mean, I love that it's just so freaking random right now.
Yeah. And
I've heard rumors that Venom is supposed to be in it. And that they're going to finally, like, do their own version of that.
Interesting.
I don't know if there's any reason to take stock in that. I've heard that in passing. I haven't looked deep into that. Somebody tell me if that's confirmed. I've not looked deep into that.
Wasn't Mr. Negative debunked or whatever that?
Oh, I hope so.
I'm pretty sure it is.
I hope that's not happening.
Or he's not the big bad, and it's someone else.
Mm-hmm.
Or I'm pretty sure I heard, like, Scorpion.
Anonymous, why can't it just be a Spider-Man movie? I mean, that's fair. The Hulk thing is more of the issue for me with that, because, again, you can always make the argument for Punisher started as a Spider-Man character. You know what I mean? So, like, that doesn't have to look like a crossover thing. He could just be a villain in that, but it would be easier to appreciate and buy into if this was his introduction.
Yeah.
Instead of, or a different version of that character.
Why does it have to be Bernthal?
Well, it does, because that's all canon.
Right, but, like,
I'm just saying, if somehow you could get away with a different version,
yeah,
it just makes you wish that this was, like, its own universe, and we didn't have to be connected to we didn't have to have all the baggage of the MCU. Well, let's move on. Oh, you know what? I forgot my gong.
Yep, you did.
Oh, I feel
that. Well, the problem is
so bad. People haven't been gonged. I'm sorry.
How
loud was that? Was that
the
pretty loud?
commentary TV is in the way now, so.
The commentary TV?
Yeah.
Oh, that's true. I can't just reach over and grab it. Yeah.
Right. And you can't really see it either.
Yeah, I've added a TV that I use for commentary now.
That's the trademarked name.
The commentary
TV?
Okay. From now on, that's how we'll refer to it. Should we get a little sign?
Yeah, commentary TV. $10.
Oh yeah, Scorpion has been confirmed, and the same actor is coming back for it. Thanks. Okay, great.
$10 from Goofster123.
I didn't know that.
I feel like the movie Wonder Woman theme fits the Absolute character better, as I've been reading it, and I was curious if you feel any of the Absolute characters fit their movie themes or not.
I don't know if I agree with that. I get Chris's take on it last night, where he said it feels real metal. I'm not getting, like, a heavy metal music vibe from it. I'm thinking, like if I were gonna score that book, You could win me over with that, but I didn't think that while I was reading it. Some of that imagery is kind of heavy metal-ish. I mean, like comic heavy metal, but I would think of much more of a gothic score with it. Certainly, like I'm leaning so much toward the classical Greek mythology kind of imagery with that I'm thinking antiquity before I'm thinking like 80s metal bands. So I see why you're saying that. I don't have that. I'm not personally with you on that, but I respect it. I get why you're saying that. As far as like movie themes that fit the absolute versions, boy, that's a thing I wouldn't have thought to try to connect up. No, not really, because absolute is so much of a reinvention that I would either go to like other characters' themes from other things, or would just want something like brand new from the ground up. But like Superman he's got his value system, but he's very conflicted, and he's in what feels like kind of a dystopia, and so a stalwart kind of Superman theme. I guess I could sort of see like the Man of Steel soundtrack for that kind of, but not really. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure what those should all sound like. Mm-hmm. But I certainly could see the soundtrack for Legion for Martian Manhunter, because I'm constantly reminded of that show when I'm reading that book. But anyway.
Do you want to do a Patreon?
We can. Absolutely.
SS Jerry. I don't know if I'm pretty sure we didn't do this. Being on a Street Fighter kick again, I did some research, and did you know this? Adam West is actually featured in Street Fighter 3 Third Strike.
No, I've never heard that.
You hear him say, "Let's go," when your character's energy meter bar fills up.
Why would you get Adam West to do that? That's all he says?
Yep.
How much did he get paid to say that? I want to know.
Maybe he says other things. I don't know.
Man,
I didn't know that either.
I wish I'd known that when I met him. That would have been the question I asked him. How much did they pay you to say "let's go"?
I don't even know if you really remember it.
Really, you're paying me $60 for an autograph? That's what you want to talk about? Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes, I do. You're telling me you don't want to hear about Mr. Freeze? You don't want me to talk about Otto Brivett? No, I want you to talk about "let's go."
Let's go. I want to hear that now.
I do too. I gotta go look that up.
$5 from... No. $5 from...
It was the highlight of my career.
Sprays. Brett Pritchard, $5. I've been replaying Arkham Knight recently in honor of its decade anniversary.
Oh, cool.
What's Cap's opinion of this game and its place in Bat history?
The story sucks. The gameplay is wonderful, unless you're playing the Batmobile. The Batmobile driving maps, the DLC, is so much fun. I've gone back to it numerous times, and I love how large the city is and how much there is to explore. It's gorgeous looking, even still. It holds up really, really well. And so as a gameplay experience, except for the tank stuff, it's a lot of fun, and I really love it. And the story gets real bad. First playthrough, I wasn't like against it until you get to the obvious twist, and also a lot of the writing is just nothing near what Paul Dini did with the first two.
He's really
like,
Bruce Wayne.
It just feels like, oh yeah, I know, I didn't see that coming. It's the only possible answer. But I didn't expect the writing to be as good as Paul Dini, but it just felt like whoever was writing that was trying real hard to get there, and it felt like a pale imitation. But having said that, so if I want to play one of those games start to finish and like immerse myself in it again, it's Arkham City. Mm-hmm. If I want to sit down for an hour and run around, it's Arkham Knight.
Okay. So maybe that's my game.
That's what
I've never
what that
played
game's
that.
for. Run into that world 100%ed if you don't want to go through the story, and just run around.
Okay.
Or not 100%ed, but like, maybe the story's
when
done.
When are you
but a
in
lot
the
of
mood
side
for
stuff's
Arkham
done,
Origins?
Origins, I just don't think to go back too much, but and that game is a mixed bag because the city got larger, but that story is also not great, but it's better than Night, actually, I think. Yeah, the problem is we just do too much of the Batman Joker yin yang stuff on their first meeting. And so it all feels ultra rushed, and I wish it could have been a little bit simpler and they just meet and have a tete-a-tete, have a battle, as opposed to getting into all the psychology of it already. And I wish Black Mask hadn't been such a red herring. And Two-Face had the same problem, although to a lesser degree, with Arkham City, where they sold the game on him some, and then he wasn't featured real hard past his appearance in the first 20 minutes of the game. Black Mask, they sold the game like he was the big bad of that.
It's like Godzilla 2014.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. Anyway.
Okay,
great. Arkham Knight is a fun bad game. Yeah, absolutely.
Now $5 from Joel Davis.
Oh, I forgot about the Oracle fake out death thing, Slipmaker. Yeah, that also sucks. Batman's got a lot of hallucination stuff in Arkham City. There's a lot more of it in Night. And I think that's part of a hallucination thing, and we're led to believe that Oracle's dead through a lot of that game. There's also spoilers for a 10-year-old game. But I do remember the hallucination bit where you have to punch out like 50 Jokers was kind of fun. There's a scene where you're tripping out and you think you're seeing all these Jokers before you just punch them all out.
Wow. Yeah. I never really got into the Arkham games because
a decade old hard. Dude, you need to do it.
I get lost.
We're gonna have to do it together. Yeah. Let's do it on stream. Let's do Cappy and Jason Can't Play. I've done those on stream.
No, we can do Jason Can't Play. No one would watch that.
It'd be better than me, because then people would watch me get lost again and be like, Cap, you've played these. Why do you still suck?
No. And then you know what it'd be called.
What's that?
Can't Cap Play?
I should do one called that. Okay, you mook. How many more super chats do we have, Jason?
1, 2, 3.
Okay, let's knock them out.
$5 from Joel Davis.
Oh, I think I might have missed a... Anyway, go ahead.
Feige, I think, has said he plans to hire not A-listers for the X-Men moving forward in order to keep costs down.
Well, that's good.
I did hear that, too.
No, I like that. They should... That is a strategy they should take from the original movies, is get people that fans are not immediately familiar with. There are exceptions to that, obviously, like Kelsey Grammer and stuff, and obviously Patrick Stewart, although you could see Stewart and McKellen as sort of like Jor-El in the first Superman move, where you pick major actors, relatively major actors, for I mean, Patrick Stewart's like recognizable because of Star Trek, but he's not like Brando or something.
Right.
But you get recognizable people for your mentor kind of star characters, and then your younger ensemble is more no-namers or people that aren't as well known.
Yeah.
At the time. Like Hugh Jackman was not well known at the time.
Right. And
then obviously Wolverine's the reason he's well known now. But then, so I agree with that. I think that is absolutely what they should do. So that's good. You know what I thought he was going to say though? I thought he was going to say Feige has announced that he's gonna hire somebody else to run the whole thing. That's what I thought he was going to say.
Yeah, I think $5 from Joel Davis. Do you think Spider-Man: Brand New Day will be a real test for Marvel's box office because it's Spider-Man? Say what you will, he's got a strong brand.
Yeah, no, I don't. I think there are exceptions where these things will continue to make at least decent money that is not going to be necessarily indicative of the larger MCU.
You know what also had a strong brand?
What's that?
Superman. And, like, it's doing good, but it's not... You know, people are saying that it's not doing great. Like, we've been talking this whole time about... But... I don't know.
Once again, I don't want to get back too much into that, but that's against its budget and its marketing budget and all of that, DCEU weakened its brand.
Right.
You know,
Right.
so again,
Nothing
I feel
has
like
really
I feel like
weakened
I feel like it's a Batman situation where like Batman was a proven thing until Batman and Robin, and then that was hated, and then Batman Begins didn't do nearly what it ought to have done, given how popular that character is and how great that movie was.
Yeah.
And so I'm telling you, it makes a lot of sense that Superman didn't do giant guns, even though I mistakenly thought that it was going to, just because there was a hype that I wasn't expecting for it. And then it just didn't quite hit what the highs I thought it could hit because people overseas didn't care.
Can we still take that theory and take it to Brand New Day based off of the previous?
Because, yeah, Spider-Man's a different animal. So Spider-Man has always performed better than Superman. Really? That's the thing you got to keep in mind, is that Superman is... Yeah, it's very hard to compare them favorably because they're such different animals. Superman obviously was a massive success in '78 and with Superman 2, right? But after that, and I think Superman 3 did okay, but like after that, it doesn't have a good track record for like critically. Like no Superman movie past 2 is well liked, has a good reputation. So what ends up happening is a character that is very popular. Well, and then Man of Steel is a mixed bag, right? But I'm talking like 3, 4 returns, and then Man of Steel is polarizing before it's universally hated, of course. So you end up with a different reputation for the character on film versus the reputation of the character as an icon, right?
That's true.
You also have different periods of time where overall the character is well-liked and appreciated and feels like an important cultural figure.
Well,
every decade, Superman feels like a different thing. And it weirdly always performs kind of better on television. Not always, but often. Like it's weird. But Superman is such a TV staple. Like arguably a better TV staple than a movie staple. Which is kind of odd. And so anyway, let me go through Spider-Man real quick. Spider-Man's always performed. Even the bad ones. And so even Amazing 2 was not well liked.
Did it perform?
I can't remember what the box office is with that. Let's go check that out real quick. But I think they were still gonna make 3 initially, and then there were issues between the studio and that actor and stuff. Let me make sure I'm not talking out of the other side of my face real quick. But that was, yeah, your budget was $293, your box office was $700 million. Spider-Man always performs. And what you got to keep in mind is, regardless of the reputation, the feelings that a lot of the fans now have retroactively about, what was the last one? No Way Home.
Yeah.
It made $2 billion. So the last movie in that franchise broke massive records. Like or got close to $2 billion. Was one of the highest grossing movies of all time. Spider-Man 4 is going to be fine.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what they make. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If Spider-Man 4 like Spider-Man is a different animal than Superman, and it's obviously a much different animal than Fantastic Four.
But you're also saying that it's more like Deadpool and Wolverine and Guardians 3.
Yes. That's what I'm saying, is it's not indicative of Marvel. Yeah. And to go back to the original question. Yeah. But I go this far with it. Now, if you have just the worst thing ever, then the very next movie might not do quite as well. But here's how popular Spider-Man is. I really mean this literally. You make a 2-hour movie that's just Mr. Potato Head wearing a Spider-Man costume, and it makes at least $700 million. It doesn't matter what's in that movie. You call it Spider-Man, it's going to make money. You also have to keep in mind that the Spider-Verse movies have been relatively successful.
Yeah.
And so you've continued to have successes even outside of the last live action thing.
Mm-hmm. No, that's true.
That character prints money.
Yeah.
In a way no other character does. On the big screen, even much, much more than Batman does.
Wow, yeah.
Like we think of Batman as the biggest superhero success story, not in movies.
Mm-hmm.
I think Batman has sold more T-shirts. You know what I mean? I think Batman has
logo.
I think Batman has a universe with more sellable characters.
Mm-hmm.
But Spider-Man as a character prints money.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Superman is an idea, Batman is a logo, Spider-Man prints money.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what else have we got?
That's why the first Venom one did good too.
Well, and Venom also prints money.
Mm-hmm.
Like in comics and merchandise and all of that.
And they know that.
Yes, they know that. It's important, and Venom is the epitome of you put Mr. Potato Head in a Venom costume and people will go see it. That is the epitome of that. Especially the last one.
No, well, and
I don't think the last one did great comparatively, but it still probably made its money back.
In comics, instead of Mr. Potato Head putting a Spider-Man costume on, it's every other character putting a Venom costume on.
That's it. Last Dance cost $120 and the box office was $478.
That only cost $120?
Yeah, and you can tell. But it still made its money back.
Yeah, that's why those other Venoms, those other symbiotes, don't have any screen time.
Nicholas Bodo Venom is at times more popular than Spider-Man, absolutely. Especially in comics.
Well, in comics, there is no Spider-Man at this point, so...
What do you mean?
It's not like Peter Parker.
Well, no, there is.
Yeah. We have one more.
Whether people care is other question.
Right.
I don't even know what's happening right now. But anyway.
Yeah. But, like, do they even have Peter Parker anymore in comics? Okay, that's good.
And Mary Jane is Venom. Oh my God. Because of course they did that. And Eddie Brock is Carnage. Dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria. Anyway, we've got 5 minutes left in the show.
Oh, that's funny. The last Patreon question and the last Super Chat are by the same person.
Oh, interesting. Let's hit them.
So the Patreon question is from Killer Moth Returns.
Okay, great. Oh, God, Venom 3 did better than Thunderbolts. I don't want to live on this planet anymore. Dogs and cats, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
Killer Moth Returns has no question. But, he says...
Move it right...
This is a Patreon question. I just want to point out that the Goodwill Superman... What? Oh, Superman 25... Yeah. Superman 2025 has established with audiences and comic movies, and it could be destroyed by a movie called Doomsday. Life really does imitate art.
I don't know what he means by that.
He's saying
destroyed by Doomsday.
Yeah, because
how?
I don't think it will.
He just means Doomsday could make more money than it?
That's what he's saying.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it could.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. In comparing these things to how much it costs to make them, do you know how much money Doomsday has to make to quote-unquote destroy Superman? And also, even if it makes a lot more money than that, it doesn't mean that sequels to Superman or other movies in the DCU are going to do any more or less business. You know what I mean? Like, I think these things only lift each other up. I think they only help each other. I think if Marvel gets really good again, that's only good for DC. And I think they need to not compete too much. I really mean that. I think the best thing those two studios could do would be to support each other. And I don't mean in doing like amalgam or something. But I think they should support each other in staying out of each other's way. And stagnate it so that the people that still really like these kinds of movies and want to go to superhero stuff... We'll go to Superman this month and Fantastic Four in 3 or 4 months. I think they should stay out of each other's way. Mm-hmm. I think it is possible, and I don't know this for sure, but to my question earlier, I'm feeling more and more on the side of maybe they did split the market too much. Mm. And that maybe Fantastic Four should have come out at Christmas.
Yeah.
I think, I realize there's an Avatar movie coming out around Christmas, and that would hurt it, because those always do buku box. because no one has taste. But put it out like a month before that or something. Put it out at the start of December. But anyway, I don't know. Did I sufficiently answer that?
I think so.
Oh, sorry. I guess what I was going to say is, yeah, the amount of money that Doomsday would have to make to destroy Superman as far as actually making a profit. So once again, let's go back to how Superman did. 225, 250 budget, $600 million so far. It's about done. So that's probably about what it's making, right? Maybe made its money back, maybe didn't quite, or maybe made a slight amount of profit. Doomsday has got this massively inflated budget with an insane amount of money going to Robert Downey. I have to look that up again. I can't remember exactly how much it is, but like it's nuts. And I think he's maybe even getting some of the box office gross. I can't remember. But that thing, and then the sheer number of actors they're having to pay for that, let alone special effects and everything. It would have to make, I would imagine, not $1 billion, but like 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4 before it would destroy Superman.
Yeah.
That thing has to make $1 billion to make its money back, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I would imagine. And spoiler alert, it's probably not going to do
But get it, it's funny.
Now, I did not... and I said when I predicted $1 billion for Superman, I might be off. And I was. I was off by a lot. So, who knows? Maybe the Russos strike gold again, but I don't see it. I don't see how.
Yeah.
And what's funny is even if it makes $1 billion, I don't know how much profit that is.
Yeah. I can tell you which movie has a script. Okay. $5 super chat.
Okay, we've got to finish the show up here.
We have 2 more super chats.
Can we hit them real quick?
Yeah, $5 from Killer Moth Returns. He returned. Those set videos of him swinging are killer sick.
Yeah, it looks cool.
Hope they don't replace it with CGI, he means. The entirety
I hope they don't replace it with TCRI.
The entirety of MCU Spidey says otherwise. Also, fun stream.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, I mean, I have nothing to add. I did say that earlier. I'm hoping the same thing. I'm scared to death that it looks practical, it looks super cool, and I'm afraid we're going to walk into the movie and be like, oh, this looks really fake, and the action is terrible.
Mm-hmm.
And that makes you go, the directors are not running the asylum. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's hit that last one.
Yep, $5 from Hermonimus. About Spidey...
thanks again, man.
Yeah, about Spidey making dollars. I don't understand why Sony didn't greenlight Spider-Man 4 and The Amazing Spider-Man 3 after No Way Home. Better than what we got, probably.
Yeah, and who knows, like, how good this thing will be. I'm hoping they, turn the ship around and we get another really good standalone Spider-Man movie like with Homecoming. You gotta wonder how rebooted Spider-Man will get after Secret Wars. Like, is this one last hurrah, or is it the start of a trilogy? We know they're regardless of box office, they're talking about doing sequels to Fantastic Four, which suggests that universe is not gonna get rebooted along with everything else. Possibly, I talked about this when we reviewed that movie, but Spider-Man is in the MCU. So, do they find some way to send him off to his own universe? It would be really weird if we soft rebooted and then we kind of soft rebooted again, because this is already something of a soft reboot with the whole everybody's memories of Peter Parker are gone and all of that. So, I don't know, but I do agree that it is odd that at least a Spider-Man 4 with Tobey Maguire was not on the table. And I was shocked to say this after No Way Home, but I wanted to see that. I thought he was really good in that. Mm-hmm. And that's the one, like, call me a sucker, because it would have been very nostalgia grabby, and it would have been just striking while the iron's hot. I thought there was something to that. Now, I wouldn't have wanted it unless Raimi came back to do it. But if that was ever going to happen, that'd be the moment for it. I never thought I wanted a Legacy sequel for that, but I thought he was so good in that.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
My computer is being weird. Sorry.
No, you're fine.
I am listening to what you're saying.
Do you want me to hit these or this last one? Because we got one more. Killer Moth returns, $5 super chat. I was referring to the reputation Superman has established with comic movies, not box office.
Oh.
Sure. Remind me what he's. Yeah, remind me what he said. Though.
I don't. It's kind of hard to. He just says, "I want to point out that the goodwill Superman 25 has established with audiences and comic movies could be destroyed by a movie called Doomsday."
I don't understand why. Okay, I misheard some of that. I don't understand why the goodwill. I don't know how that correlates.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, again, I think I'm going to stand by what I said a minute ago. I think all these things can do if they're good is lift each other up. I don't see people, if they love Doomsday, go F Superman. Mm-hmm. That makes no sense in my brain. Why wouldn't we want all these things to be wonderful?
Yeah.
And most of us, at least as comic fans, tend to like at least something from both of the big two. Mm-hmm. I don't know, like, I know there are people that do the stupid sports team thing where they back one and hate the other. I don't understand for the majority of people how if an Avengers movie does well, if Superman had goodwill, it doesn't anymore. I'm not understanding that. Oh, he says if Doomsday is bad. I see. Sorry, I guess when he used the word destroy, I thought he meant, like, make people not like it because Doomsday is good. So what? No, I'm sorry. So I understand it now. I wasn't getting it. I'm being daft. I'm sorry. What he's saying, Jason, is superhero fatigue. If Doomsday, and I don't agree with this either, by the way, but what he's saying is if Doomsday doesn't perform, or if people really freaking hate it, they turn against superhero movies. Just in general. I don't agree with that. I don't see it. Now, I could see it having permanent damage with MCU, even with a reboot, somewhat depending on what that looks like and how quickly they rush something out. But I'm seeing a major separation between the companies with this. Now, did fewer people see Superman because they haven't cared about superhero movies in general because of MCU? Possible. Does it just completely tank the DCU if Doomsday sucks? I don't see it. I don't think so. I hope not, certainly, but I don't think. Sorry, now I get what you're saying. I don't think I agree with it. What do you think?
I don't think it will. I think it might destroy Marvel's reputation. Like, it might.
Yeah. Anonymous, because of the situation superhero movies are in now, I think they need to be really good or they'll flop outside of Spider-Man or Batman. Certainly, but then that's a quality thing, right? Mm-hmm. So he's saying Superman has goodwill now, but if Marvel screws up, they'll screw that up. I don't think I see it.
I don't think it will.
I think it helps that Gunn's got such a good track record. Part of that is just his movies have always performed. He's always been at a certain percentage with Rotten Tomatoes.
And he's not making big crossover movies yet. Like, that's the other thing, is like...
No, and they're going to have a lot of variety with all their other movies. They're making Clayface. They're talking about making a movie called A Henchman that would be like like an adaptation of The Man Who Shot or Who Killed Batman in the animated series. And that's apparently that Joker Harley project. Well, they're in that episode. So the idea isn't that it's a Joker Harley movie; it's they show up in it. Sounds awesome. Like, I hope that gets made.
That is cool.
Okay, we've got to end. I really appreciate you guys. Thanks a lot for the support tonight with Super Chats. Thanks a lot for for hanging out with us and for all of the interaction. Jason, give us the top 2 Super Chat winners for this evening.
All right.
If you can.
I think...
Or do you need help? Because your computer is being...
No, it's good now.
Fritzy.
I'm pretty sure it's Joel Davis. And it might be... And Hermominus.
Okay, so
Hermonymous.
For you guys, and I'm going to have to give you a slight bit of homework. There's no other way to do this. I am sending you my email in the live chat here. And I need both of you guys. So say the names again. It's Joel Davis and it's Hermominus.
Hermonymous.
Okay, I need both of you guys to send me an email and in the subject line, it needs to say Superhero Rewind Movie. And I will send you a link to that stream when we have that stream. So I will not respond to that email right away, probably. So don't worry if you don't hear from it. I will try just so that you know that I got it. But then what will happen is when we do that stream, it'll be the Tuesday before the 29th. It'll be that last week of August. I will send you a link to the special private screening that we'll have live that'll start at 7 o'clock, and then we'll have a little bit of a Q&A afterwards, and we can chat with you in the comments through the whole movie while we're all watching it together. So you two will both get to hang out with us for that, and everybody else, never fear, because I'm going to offer this again on at least one more stream, if not more, up until the movie comes out. The movie comes out once again August 29th. I haven't decided what time of day I'm going to put it up yet. I don't know if it'll be in the morning or in the evening. We're doing the local premiere on the 23rd here, and then we're going to post the early link for some of the Super Chat supporters right after that stream on that Tuesday. And that is all the news that's fit to print. Thanks a lot for watching, everybody. Thanks a bunch for being here. And we're going to go ahead and get going. Right. Is there anything else we need to mention?
I mean, we didn't do birthday stuff, but...
Oh, that's true. I was going to show off my birthday stuff. You know what? I'll do that. I'll do that later on. We're at 2 hours. I've got things I got to do. We better get going. Sorry we missed that, but thanks for reminding me. But we had too many super chats, just too much Q&A. Sorry, I thought you were going to say something else. But that is okay. It's not a giant deal. Because I really appreciate all the interaction. We had a great time tonight. But yeah, I'll save it for next week. We might need to pad for time. We'll see. Oh, and Septic Stream says Jurassic House is the best. That is the only person I've ever heard say that. I love Jurassic House. It's absolutely
Was it
terrible.
Ruined by plague?
You know, a little. Honestly, a little. But it's still fun to go back to. Anyway, appreciate you guys. We're going to get going. I was Captain Logan.
I was Jason.
Bye, folks.